Hi, I hope you're fine today. I'm still Dr. Francisca. Welcome again to another episode, and I'll call this one a review. I'm going to have a review, and my review is centered on the online program. I went through I am an online diploma program, so at postgraduate level. So I just want to make a candid review between an online and a classroom. That's just what I want to discuss. And the reason why I want to make this review is just before I began the online program in 2014, when I went to America to have my last daughter. I met a woman who was doing an online program, and I asked her because I always see her come to her dining with her laptop and she's studying. And I said to her, I don't think I'll have the discipline to do this online program because I'm just imagining the discipline. You need a lot of discipline to come off, as in to come off housework, house chores, and then you're also your personal commitments. And then also, if you're working, you need a lot of discipline to be able to study if you're doing an online program, because it is majorly on you. If you're doing a classroom program, you probably get up, have your bath, and when it's time for the classroom, you go to class. But when you are doing an online, it's centered on when you make out time yourself to study. So I did tell her that I don't think I have the discipline to, I can have the discipline to do this online program, considering that I will have a lot of house works to do, and I have my professional commitment as well. I have to go to work and all that. And I don't actually think I will go for this kind of. That's what I did tell her at postgraduate level. This was in 2014. So I told her I don't think I can do an online program. But what actually spurred my interest to go for an online program during the lockdown period, I went to Nigeria. I'm originally from Nigeria. So I went to Nigeria to for a commitment in Nigeria, and then I got stuck with the lockdown. So you know how the lockdown was. It was actually a very boring period. So I was home, and I was always like watching movies occasionally on data. But I was really upset because I hate to waste my time. I hate to be professionally idle. Not just the aspect. I hate to be idle in my profession. So there was really nothing. You can't actually go to work apart from like the problem I had then with General Medical Council in the United Kingdom. But then I even if I was in the UK, you practically there was so much restriction around work, around anything at all. Those that were in school also had to come off school because it was just a compulsory lockdown, and everybody was practically home. It was during those period one day, and I was watching a movie. I saw this advert coming up on master's program in King's College London. So I took interest in it because I just don't want to be idle professionally. So I took interest in that master's program, and all the while I've always had in mind doing a master's program in public health anyway. So I said okay, but then the timing was not actually the time I wanted to do the master's program. But I said no, that I always desired to do a master's program in public health. I knew I was going to do it definitely. And after I had my last child in 2014, after about 6 months, I don't usually like, after my maternity leave had expired, I don't usually like my kids going to crèche before they turn one. So even in her situation, I didn't I that was actually my first attempt at application for a master's program in public health. But then at that stage it was a classroom application I did. It was a classroom masters I did. So this lockdown was practically in 2019, 2020 precisely. That's when the lockdown came around April 2020. That's when the lockdown began. It was during this lockdown period that I saw that advert, and I actually took interest in it. I looked through the master's program, the adverts coming up. I looked through, it was going to be 2 years because it's a master's program, and it is deemed a part time. This one is in King's College. So I took interest. I looked at the cost of the masters and all that. I took interest in the program, and I did my application. I applied for the program and all that, and I got admission and I began this. But then there was just something happened, and then that program was truncated. So, but then I was actually doing the program. I was always like going for the online lectures, times you have to study, tutorials and all that, you know. So that one of King's College, I think it was practically 2 weeks online tutorials with the lecturers, and then other bulk of the program, that's the studies and all that, is bent on you have to do the studies, you know. So that program was truncated. But then I just completed another online program, but then now a diploma, not a master's. But I decided to do this review so that if there are any of my subscribers like I was in 2014 when I had my last daughter, they believe I had. Can I actually do this? Do I have the discipline to do this? So I just want to give that review so you make up your mind in case you want to. Now, if the reason I decided to go for an online program now, if I have to go for masters, I'll likely do an online program as against classroom. The reason, there is nothing particular. In fact, I am this kind of person that I prefer to attend lectures, because when in a class where I attend lectures, about 60%, actually more than half of that lectures has been stuck in my brain. So going to read it is like making a revision, and by the time I read it just once after a lecture, the most likely thing is that a lot of, like, about 80% of that lecture is already in my brain. That's the kind of person I am. So if you check, when I was in my undergraduate days, when I was studying medicine in Nigeria in my undergraduate days, I rarely miss my classes. I rarely miss my classes, not because I want to prove that I'm a serious minded student, but I know my strength. I know my strength in lecture classes. Once I listen to a lecture, about 60% of that lecture already I've understood it. You know, so my going to read through is going to get it to like 80-90%. So for the online is not the same thing. You also have lectures in online, so it just depends on the kind of online program you want to enroll in. My candid opinion about this is that just to read the details of that online just before you enroll. Once you make your applications, read through. I usually go through everything, every aspect of it. That's the number of years, what it entails, how much, how their program is structured, so that you see if that suits you. You understand? Because one, suitability is important. The program I just completed usually have the tutorials on Fridays by 7 o'clock. Now, there are some other programs where you have options of time you choose. If, for example, you're a working class, you go to work and you come back, you need to actually factor this into when you're off work. That's why I said your best bet is, before you apply for any online program, you go through every aspect of it, go through the structure, go through every aspect of that, and then you make up your mind if that's what you want or that suits your current status in every ramification, you know. So, but then number one you have to do is, like I said, going through the online program. Go through it, you know. After going through the program and it suits you, then you can apply. What's the difference in a classroom? One thing that spurred my interest to actually go for online, like if I want to do my masters in public health, is still an online thing I'll go for. The reason is because I have had delay professionally. I had professional delay as a result of my ugly experience with General Medical Council in this country, in the United Kingdom. So because of that delay, I have decided to like get a lot of things done together professionally. So if, for example, I engage in my postgraduate training, I have to go to work. You know, it's clinical. So I have to go to work. I have to see patients and all that. And then I'll also have to do this online thing. Most cases, if you go for a classroom, it's not all the time. There are some classroom masters that will do evening lectures and weekend lectures, which might actually suit, you know. But some other time is actually during the week. So it all depends. If, for example, you are going for the option of a classroom, check as well if that suits you. If it is like classroom that's is weekends, and you're usually off work weekends, and you have less family commitments weekend, for example, then you can go for that application. So my emphasis is on suitability. What suits you? If you think classroom suits you, the only reason why I'm going for an online is it gives me that flexibility I need. Flexibility in the sense that I will be pursuing that the degree while I do other things I'm doing. If you're doing a classroom, you are more stationary than an online, even if it is classroom that you do on weekends. Now, depending on the distance, some will have to travel to where their lectures are. You know, these are the factors you all check. But one very, very, very important point I have to stress about the online program: if it is a classroom, you don't even compulsorily have to read before the lecturer comes to teach. That's the truth. You can actually go for that this thing lecture, and after that lecture, probably you come and then you have time to make your revision and all that. But most times in online, I don't know, the last program I completed, the program is just once a week, 1 hour. That's all you have for the whole, just once a week, and it's just 1 hour. So I think that is actually very minimal. You cannot do a classroom masters and you're doing it, and you're having tutorials or discussion for just 1 hour. It's not possible. So that's another very strong factor to consider, because if you ask me, my opinion about that is that this online program, you need a lot of discipline, because then you have to study ahead of time. Most times, by the time that tutorials is coming up, you would have read through the lecture notes. But I don't know, I never did a postgraduate I have not done a postgraduate classroom. But then for my postgraduates in my undergraduate days, I mustn't read ahead of a lecturer. I can come for a lecture, and after the lecture has gone through, I will just go and read it up, as in read through. Oh, but this one, you have to like stay ahead. You have to have read before the discussion. That's how it goes. You go through the lecture notes, and then once a week on Fridays, just 1 hour, you do the lecture. So the truth about it is that it depends on what you want. I, for one, I don't like having a degree. I can't defend. That's the kind of person I am. So I would like to have a degree I defend. So invariably, if I say I have obtained a master's degree in public health, I should be able to defend it reasonably. I'm not saying I'll have to know everything in it. No, you understand? You could actually forget, but like at least there should be an edge I have over one that has not gone through the master's program. That's the way I see it. That's the way I define it. So I hate to acquire a degree I cannot defend. So based on that, I know I study well for my degrees. I know I put in efforts for whatever degree I obtain. So, in this online program, you need a lot of discipline to study. If, for example, you have to go to work, you have your kids around, well, you have to structure your time. You have to get yourself disciplined to be able to study. Because the truth about it is that if you are combining like your work and for example, family commitment and then the studies, you have to be very, very disciplined, extremely disciplined to be able to study. There is a tendency, that's just the emphasis I'm laying. There's a tendency of not studying and then just coming for the tutorials. In this last online program I completed, if you do that, then you are definitely not going to know much. That's the truth, because the bulk of that program was bent on the students taking the program. You have to discipline yourself. You have to read through the lecture notes. If you've not read through the lecture notes, in fact, in the first and second module, what we always do on Fridays are the clinical questions that come afterwards that you have to read through and discuss. That's practically what we do. So the lecture note is not discussed, so to say, like discussed the way lectures are. The way it goes for that program is that it is if there are things from that clinical setting that brings up the part of some parts of the lecture notes, then is discussed. So invariably you need to study, you need that discipline so that you're able to defend it. It is not just getting the degree. That's what I always say. I like to get a degree I defend, you know. Yeah, so that's one of that thing. Some online programs, when you compare it with the classroom, they're actually more expensive, some are cheaper. So it all depends, you know. That one has no static. I have seen some online programs, and I saw their classroom counterparts. They were actually more expensive than the classroom counterpart. I have seen online programs as well, looked at their classroom counterparts, and I realized that the classroom was actually cheaper. So that's not actually static. Whichever one you're going for, just go through and know if it's something that suits you or is affordable for you or not. So the money is not. I think the bulk of it is in the discipline of reading. The discipline you have to give yourself to be able to study and achieve a lot from that program. That's majorly what's the online, because in the for the classroom, I don't think, even if it's a classroom masters, there is no how classroom masters in a full week you just have, even if it's weekend program like the part-time this the masters that will have lectures, for example, evenings or weekend, it can never be 1 hour. Classroom can never be just you're coming in a full week for just 1 hour. It's not possible. I'm sure there will be like 2 hours, even if it's a day, then maybe like 2 hours or 3 hours or so, you know. So I just think it's that's huge discipline you need a lot of discipline around studies to be able to do the online. Now the advantage of the online, like I said, that is what actually spurred my own interest to do the online program. The advantage of the online for me is my ability to combine. So if, for example, my kids are around me and I have to work, I have to do my postgraduate training, for example, I have to do my professional studies as well apart from this, then there is a possibility of combining that with your master's program. It's just a lot of discipline you need, you know. You need a lot of discipline. You may have to like carve out nights for studies when probably your kids are asleep, and the as in you've gone to work and you're back from work and all that, you know. But you are able to combine a lot of things. I mean, there are times I have to get to another place, another travel to another place, and I will achieve that traveling to another place because then I can still study. That's one positive side of online. That flexibility it gives you to study when it suits you, as against classroom. If, for example, a lecturer fixes class at, for example, 5 o'clock a particular day, you know, you have to be there. And if, for example, you needed to travel that weekend, you can't travel, is it not? But for the online, assuming I have to travel, I can still travel, and when it gets to that time, I'll just zoom into the lectures and attend the lectures. You know, that's the positive side of it. It gives you that flexibility to do what we are doing, but you need a lot of discipline because it's very easy to like miss your classes because of other commitments. It's not like it's out of truancy or something, but it's due to other commitments, you know. So that's just it. It's just you need a lot of discipline to do the online, but it is advantageous because if, for example, you have my kind of experience where you are delayed and then you need to do what I call a catch up. Catching up, you need to do a lot of things at the same time. That then the online is extremely beneficial. Well, that's my own from my own experience, like a candid review. That's what I'm gonna make, a very candid review from my personal experience of it. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Is it achievable? Yes, it's achievable. Do I think I'll recommend an online program for anyone? Yes. So just depending on your circumstance. I'm not saying the classroom is not good as well. Just depend on what you are exposed to at any particular time. So please, If you are coming across my channel for the first time, please, I really appreciate. Please subscribe, like, and share. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning to watch this. Don't forget to share and subscribe to the channel. If you've had like contrary experiences and all that about this, well, you can actually drop your comments as well. So that is this for this particular video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget, subscribe, like, share. Until my next video, is still me, Dr. Francisca, Dr. Amaka. Thank you.